Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Let's Play Lost Kingdoms. As always, I'm PA. This time we're going to be heading over to the Turjan Temple, where we're going to be facing a large number of a few kinds of difficult monsters. So naturally we're bringing with us as many Earth Elemental cards as we can, as well as the White Tiger, because hey, if you've got legendary cards unlocked, you might as well bring them in any chance you've got. White Tiger deals a lot of damage to pretty much everything on the field, and it's not fire element, so it's not going to be bad against the water cards, it's just going to be kind of neutral. So right off the bat, I really love how this place looks. The combination of the white platforms with the water in the background and the clouds reflected just has a really nice style to it. Additionally, the fact that the, normally, you know, in these levels you've got like kind of that weird void background thing going on. Here, instead of a weird void background, you've got the water, which really makes the place feel a lot more alive than similar levels that we've already been to. Meanwhile, on screen, some backstory going on. Gods appeared, gods couldn't decide who got the land, so they summoned people to fight for them, and then the gods sealed each other away, and the people died. Brilliant. Tell it to your kids at bedtime. Perfect story, 10 out of 10. And we've got this water wheel, which is somehow, I guess it's powering the windmill? But there were 4 paths in the middle in case you didn't spot that, and this fairy is telling us that we have to visit all of them to be able to continue and oh, that was a cheap shot. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, if there are 4 paths, then this must be a pretty open level, right PA? And I'd say, well, that's a very astute question of you random person who asked me that question, but the answer is no. You actually have to head this way first. You try to go any other way, the path is going to be locked off to you. How do you figure this out? Trial and error. And I'm still opening chests even though there's really no feasible use I'm going to have for most of these cards. Considering I have all of them already. And the good ones I have multiple copies of, but whatever. And, okay, that's another cheap shot, come on. So, we also have crystal roses. If you haven't figured it out, just like the other areas, this place is filled to the brim with water monsters and water monsters only. This makes it very easy to build decks for this area because, well, there's only one thing you gotta deal with. It's actually pretty simple. Also, if you look in the background at the area right now, you can actually see that what is normally the fog, like the weird fog skybox, is actually the clouds. And then the water is just there, and it shows the clouds through that, which creates the really nice reflection effect. So, it's actually pretty clever. I like it. But these platforms, or the platforms to the next part of the area, would not have been raised up. Okay, it's the next part, yeah. Would not have been raised up if we hadn't touched the first orb in the, I'm gonna call it southeast corner of the area first. So, you've got, again, you have to do them in this order. This area would be open, but that platform wouldn't be up. But it doesn't matter anyway, since there's some new enemies to fight, or rather, the same enemy to fight. Dragon Knights can actually be pretty tough. As before, they still have the ability to paralyze you, or petrify you, not quite sure which it would be. But if you manage to time your Luzman swings right, you can actually use the invulnerability to get through the Dragon Knight swing, so it's really not that bad. And apparently the blue dragon likes to test the strength of everyone, so I guess the turtle and the white tiger were just kinda, what, messing around then? Or is this just a universal thing for powerful entities? As before, the Hand of Pain will power up the water-type monsters, so you probably want to take care of it first. It is a big help to make sure that you're not going to be taking extra damage from the Dragon Knights. Plus, I mean, they're not really that tough. So, what trouble is there? There's none. Just beat up a hand. And door's not open yet. Oh, and the deck point is right in the middle, too, so if you have to restore your HP or get some more cards, you can do that pretty much between any one of these sections. The biggest puzzle to this place is figuring out— oh yeah, no, I'm not being fooled by that crystal rose DS again. No, the biggest puzzle to this place is figuring out which order you're supposed to go to the corners in, because without that, you'd just be wandering around and be like, well, I can't get there, let's try here, well, I can't get here, let's try there. The first time I went through here, I actually went through all of the places before I found the correct one, which is terrible luck. But to start it, just bottom right, go counterclockwise. Easy. again, green platform would not have been raised if we didn't touch the platform in the top right, or the orb in the top right. Ah, time to try the behemoths, since the enemies are fairly widespread here. Behemoths are the elemental damage equivalent for the earth element. They will deal damage to every water-type monster on the field, and only water-type monsters on the field, once for a large amount. This makes them incredibly useful in water-only stage like this one, and not quite as useful pretty much anywhere else since they're so situational. Okay. You know, I'm really still just put off by these fairies just popping out of the chest. Here, let me give you a bit of history. Like, could you imagine, in real life? Like, you're exploring some sort of ancient temple, some sort of ancient tomb. You open up an ancient sarcophagus, just musty and I don't know, dark and all that weird stuff. You push it open, and inside is your history professor, rich to give you a lesson about the ancient Mesopotamians. It makes no sense. Then again, we're wandering around summoning monsters from cards and saving fairies from treasure chests, so I suppose not much makes sense here. You really shouldn't overthink it. You should really just relax. Okay, that water wheel's not attached to anything. Yeah, you can usually expect one enemy encounter per platform, so don't really sweat it too much. By the way, if you have Dragonoids, they're incredible. Barely any cost. You can farm them fairly easily back in the sewers way earlier in the game. And they pretty much one-shot Dragon Knights. The fact that they're 2 hits with decent damage makes them, honestly, one of the best Earth Elemental cards in the game. I'd say they are the Earth Elemental Dragon Knight, because they deal probably comparable damage to anything that doesn't flinch too easily. And of course, Dragon Knights, as mentioned way back in Burned Field, have a very high stagger point, so very easy to use cards like that to get around them. And I think that's the final orb, so we should be... Oh, for the love of God. Hey, wait a minute, you guys are mini-bosses! Yeah, these guys show up again, completely unchanged from their previous encounter. Ice Golems, same as we encountered them back earlier in the game. You might have not even seen these guys before, if you haven't been taking the right path through the game. But it would have been fairly difficult to get all of the water elemental cards you needed if you didn't go to the area, so I'm taking for what's worth. We've got 2 legendary cards in our hand here, but no, I'm gonna save those. Gotta pit legendary against legendary. It's not fair otherwise. Alright, back to the center of the area, and I think we should be just about good to go. Now, with every other encounter, as soon as we walked in there, the enemy just spawned and started beating the hell out of us, so we've got to be prepared. Got to be ready. Surely there's going to be some sort of thing to get around, some sort of tricky Oh, another ice golem. How nice. Something to stop or fight or... Oh, he's just staying. Are we gonna fight, or just gonna chill there with your orb? I mean, it's a very nice orb. I see that you have a Kraken fixture in your room. You want... I mean... Hello? Oh. Ah, yes, prove your worth by fighting not me, but the Kraken. I don't know, I never really got this myself. The Blue Dragon's too good to fight Amazon. So, yeah, get to fighting. So, let's just summon an Earth Elemental creature. In fact, let's summon the Earth Elemental creature. Now, Great Turtle's slow, and its attack range is pretty specific, but, if you look at how much damage it's taking, that's a Kraken. That's a boss monster. It's meant to be really tough, and it's taking no damage. Also, here's the Great Tiger. Runs in, dashes forward, deals damage to the entire screen. Don't be fooled by that dash. It deals damage to everything. So yeah, you've got to fight the Kraken, the card I've had since pretty much the beginning of the game. Its attack patterns are exactly the same as mine, except for a slightly increased attack range, which I will admit would help. However, Krakens have very low invincibility time, and of course the zombie dragon has a very long attack animation, so you can deal about 100 damage per zombie dragon just by smacking in the face. And, well, let's be honest here, if the Great Turtle could actually aim, we'd be a bit better off. Oh, there we go. Sorry, that's bad talk here. Very wonderful. So yeah, Great Turtle is flat out the best independent monster in the game. Cost 20 magic crystals, definitely worth it. And then the blue dragon's okay with us. That's it. Don't need to talk to him again. Nothing like that. And that's 5 stars. If you go to the right place, you got 5 stars, and pick whatever cards. You already have them by this point. I just about guarantee it. And the blue dragon. Now, this thing is broken as hell because it restores every single card you've used, heals you entirely, and heals all of your allies entirely. Also has no monster data because you never fight it. So if you have at least one other card restoring card in your deck, the blue dragon will literally give you an infinite deck. And since you cast from hit points and can't go below 1, you can literally just cast the blue dragon at any time without fear of repercussion, even if you have 0 magic crystals. So the 20 cost is pretty much like a non-factor. And of course for 90! We've got 90 out of 100. He's given us a steel skeleton. We fought and captured these. It's not special in any way. This is the exact same one. You had better give me something special for 100, mister. I swear. I'll be right irked if you just give me something like, we get to 100, you give me a hobgoblin, I'm out. And of course he's saying, I don't think this house will hold more than 100, because if you haven't figured out there's 100 by this point in the game, well, that's actually a fair thing to assume. So we've got one more legendary god to find, and it's actually right next to the next dungeon, in a place called Yalwog. So, I've prepared a deck for Justice the Cage. That wasn't the first time I've done the Temple of Turjan. I got a couple more Dragon Knights. Quite a few. And next time, we're going to take them literally to a volcano. Just molten as hell. I'll see you all then.